We are told the arc with a radius of 4 centimeters has a central angle of 60 degrees. The arc with a radius of 7 centimeters has a central angle of 300 degrees. Find the exact perimeter of the shape. So pause this video, have a go at this before we do this together. All right, now this is a fun problem. The perimeter is essentially all of this black that we see over here. So there's a couple of parts that we can get right out of the gate. We could figure out this length, because we know this entire radius of the larger circle is 7 centimeters, while the smaller circle has a 4 centimeter radius. So this is going to be the difference. This is going to be 7 centimeters minus this 4 centimeters. So this is going to be 3. We'll assume everything's in centimeters, so I just don't have to keep writing the centimeters over and over again. Actually, I'll just write it this time. And by the same logic, this length right over here is also 3 centimeters. So now we just have to figure out the two arc lengths. So let's just do this one first, and then we'll do this larger one. So we know that the circumference of a circle is 2 times pi times the radius, or we could say it's equal to the diameter times the radius. Now what's going to be the circumference if we were to say this whole circle, I'm not drawing it that well, with a radius of 4 centimeters? Well, then the circumference is going to be 2 times pi times 4. We're assuming everything's in centimeters, so it would be 8 pi centimeters if we were to go all the way around. Now we're not going all the way around. This arc has a central angle of only 60 degrees. 60 out of a possible 360 if we were to go all the way around. So this arc length right over here, it's 60 out of 360 degrees times the circumference of this entire circle if we were to go all the way around. So what is this going to be? Well, 60 over 360 is the same thing as 1 over 6 times 8 pi. And so that's going to be equal to 8 pi over 6. And they're both divisible. Both 8 and 6 are divisible by 2. So this gives us 4 pi over 3 centimeters. So this is 4 pi over 3. Now we can use the same methodology to figure out this arc length. If we're thinking about the entire circle, including this part right over here, it would be 2 pi times this radius. So the whole thing would be 2 times pi times 7 centimeters, or we could say it would be 14 pi. But we're not worried about the whole thing. We're just worried about this arc that has a central angle of 300. So times 300 over 360, because that is the amount of the whole circumference that we're dealing with. Because there's 360 degrees if we were to go all the way around, but we are only dealing with 300 of those 360. Well, if we divide both 300 and 360 by 60, you get a 5 and a 6. So we get 14 pi times 5 over 6. And then let's see, both 14 and 6 are divisible by 2. So we get 7 pi times 5 over 3. And so this is going to be 7 pi times 5 is equal to 35 pi over 3. And so if we want to find the perimeter of everything we're talking about, we want to take this 35 pi over 3. That's this whole part over here. We want to add that to the 4 pi over 3. So plus 4 pi over 3. And then plus these 3 centimeters. So if we add those two, we'll just get 6. And so 35 pi over 3 plus 4 pi over 3 is going to get us 39 pi over 3 plus 6. Well, what's 39 divided by 3? It's 13. So this is all going to be equal to 13 pi plus 6. That is the exact perimeter of the shape in centimeters. 13 pi plus 6 centimeters.